7-4 out west on opening day. I'm Barrett Salee, and this is your Braves Morning Update.
Get clean car happy all season long at Tidal Wave with exclusive membership discounts, giveaways, and more. Visit TidalWaveAutoSpa.com/Braves for more information.
Disappointing start to the season. A 4-run seventh inning cost the Braves after a hot start that included Ozzie Albies and Austin Riley going deep for the good guys. Chris Sale looked solid in his first start of the season, going 5 innings, 3 earned runs, 6 hits, 7 strikeouts. So he's picked up right where he left off in his strikeout department. Hector Neris, the loser, came in, did not record an out, gave up 3 runs, including a home run to Gavin Sheets. The Braves will look to get back on the right track this evening in San Diego. Ronaldo Lopez going up against Dylan Cease at 9:40 Eastern Time at Petco Park. Braves looking to even the series at 1. You'll get that action right here on the Braves Radio Network.
From the University of Alabama, this is Crimson Tide Today. It's Daily Update on Bama Sports and it's brought to you by Guthrie's. America's original chicken finger restaurant is now an official partner of the Alabama Crimson Tide. For franchise information, visit Guthrie'sChicken.com. Hello again, everybody. I'm Roger Hoover. Here are post-practice thoughts from head football coach Kalen DeBoer.
Just a lot of give and take. Some guys up front did a nice job getting in the backfield at times. I thought we were consistent in the run game offensively. Held out a few guys beyond the injuries that have been from the beginning. A couple of guys that got a few nicks, just giving more opportunity for some young guys to go out there and show us what they got. So we'll have a scrimmage next Friday again, and then we'll scrimmage. We scrimmage multiple times whenever we put full pads on, so it's controlled. And we'll do that a couple times next week with the big one on Friday. And then we get into the final week leading up to A-Day. We'll have a scrimmage there on Thursday, actually before the Saturday A-Day.
I'll have more in a moment.
Founded in Haleyville, Alabama in 1965 by Hal and Melissa Guthrie, Guthrie's was America's first chicken finger restaurant. Guthrie still uses the family's original Southern fried chicken recipe in every chicken finger they serve. Fresh, hot, and fast. Guthrie's Golden Fried Chicken Fingers has been Alabama owned and operated since 1965, and Guthrie's is still growing strong. Come see us soon. Guthrie's, America's original chicken finger restaurant, and now an official partner of the Alabama Crimson Tide. For franchise information, visit Guthrie'sChicken.com.
We've got you covered this weekend for Alabama baseball and softball Friday through Sunday in Tuscaloosa. The baseball team squares off with Oklahoma while softball hosts Georgia. Crimson Tide Today is brought to you by Guthrie's. Crimson Tide Today is a production of the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield.
Welcome to Talkin' Ball with Scott Theisen and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
So it's Friday. We're back. We're off. We're running. It's brand new. It's Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Scott Theisen, Drew DeArmond. Welcome in on a Friday morning. We get you started courtesy of our friends over at Talent Heating and Air. Make sure you give them a call. 256-503-4490. You can find them online at talenthvac.com. They've got talent. Yes, they do. They've got talent, and they'll work for you.
Dang, how many times did you practice that?
Nothing. Just came off the top of my head.
Wow.
Yes. They've got 3 good people. They've got more than 3, but they've got 3 people, Thomas, Terry, and Jeremy. Give each of them a call if you would like. It's Talent Heating and Air helping us get started here on a Friday morning. And last
one of them
night,
I think that a hell froze over because I'm rooting for Tennessee since I keep my bracket alive.
Last night, speaking of 3 good people, last night in Newark, New Jersey at the Prudential Center, this is what you got a lot of.
Teams with big rotations. They both go deep. And Sears rolls in another three-pointer. They got 5 assists on their 9 makes. Meanwhile, Alabama 8 of 12. And with 6 assists, and that one is down. Another three-pointer. Mark Sears. All those experienced bench players for BYU. Extra pass. Hayden Holloway. He and Mark Sears have it cooking right now from beyond the arc.
Yes, Alabama had it cooking, and I mean, they were sizzling like going to a buffet last night. They could just step up and get whatever they wanted. Alabama not only broke the SEC, the school, they also broke the NCAA tournament record, 25 threes last night, 113-88 victory over BYU. It was an impressive night. They also set school marks for most points scored in an NCAA tournament game, most three-pointers attempted, 51. You could just keep going on and on and on with the records last night. 52% from behind the arc.
Well, I mean, the game I just kept replaying in my head, and it was around a 32 game, 35 years ago, was in 1990, and pardon me there. But, I think I was just thinking about Lyle Marymount and the late Hank Gathers.
Yes, that came to mind because they had the record of 22 threes back in 1990.
And it was made in a game against the defending national champion Michigan Wolverines. Sorry, Wolverine Dan, but it was a second round game.
Yep.
And they just absolutely blitzkrieged Michigan. And then the next round they played Alabama. Alabama held the ball. Probably shouldn't have held it as much as they did. I think Whip Sanderson even admits that. And they beat Alabama 62-60 before getting eviscerated by UNLV, who went on to beat Duke, by 30 and win the national championship, Tark's only title. But it just watching Alabama last night and how hot they were reminded me of that Lyle Marymount team. And Jeff Fryer that night made 11 threes.
Yes.
That's the one record Sears didn't break since he sat the last 4 minutes.
He didn't need to break
Sears
the mark.
had 34, made 10 of 16 from 3, and BYU kept going underneath the screens and
all night long.
But the funny thing about it is Alabama didn't get off to a scorching start the first 3 or 4 minutes because at first, Alabama was probing and getting a feel for how BYU is going to defend them.
Right.
And I thought the guards weren't aggressive enough. I was like, why aren't y'all? Because it looked like they were daring Alabama to shoot because they were trying to keep Alabama from getting to the rim. Alabama had been so dominant leading the tournament in points in the paint. But then once Sears made one, and then by the time he made the second one, and then, Aiden Holloway came off the bench and made one. And then when LeBaron Philon banked in his second, I thought, this is – they're in one of these modes. Youngblood missed his first 3 or 4, but then he got cooking, and it was just one of those things, man. They absolutely eviscerated BYU, and BYU is a really good team under Kevin Young.
Yes, but their 3-point shooting defense, even going into the Alabama game, was not very good.
Well, their defense as a whole wasn't. So I felt like Alabama would be able to attack them. And then what Alabama did defensively that I thought was sound, they certainly gave up some points in the paint, and then BYU was going to the rim. But they did a really good job of running BYU off the 3-point line, because BYU is a really good 3-point shooting team. BYU only ended up making 6 threes, and most of those came when the game was well out of hand. So I just thought it was a sound game plan by Nate Oates and the guys, and kudos to the coaching staff and for the team shooting. The only other shooting performance by Alabama I was rehashing in my mind that I watched live was against Western Union and Will Wade. Alabama went to LSU and just laid waste to the Bayou Bengals.
Yeah, I remember that one.
And beat them by 30 because they made 22 threes, I think, that night.
Yeah, so 25 threes last night. Alabama does get the win over BYU. Now they will move on to take on Duke, and I can imagine I already know right now, Duke is not going to give Alabama that many open looks from behind the arc. That was one thing. You watched that game last night. Everything Alabama was forcing BYU to take from behind the arc early was contested. Even when BYU did get a look off, there was a hand in the face. Alabama didn't have a hand in the face, and it's easy to make a lot of threes. Ask a three-point shooter, hand in the face or no hand in the face. Nate Oates last night talking after the game.
They had been going under ball screens just about every game we watched. I told both those guys, Holloway and seriously, man, I hope they go under us because we're going to rain them. So we were in the gym last night, the night before, but these guys show up for voluntary shooting every time it's available to make sure that they're ready to go and that work pays off. We want to base our program on hard work. So told Mark he's playing chess, not checkers. He just kind of set everybody up with that 5 of 35, thinking he was in a slump and he's going to come out, shoot like 63%, ain't bad. So 10 threes, I think first guy in NCAA tournament history, I was told, that had at least 8 threes and 7 assists. So, not only was he scoring it, he was moving it. Helps to get assists when you got guys like CY and Aiden Holloway making shots like they did too. So between these three guys, we had 21 threes. It's, we've hit 22 before a couple times, I think maybe 23. We've never hit 25. So, and BYU with their personnel, we knew that they started going under, but they always collapse. I mean, they kind of have to, and they kind of got away with it against some teams that don't space like we do. But I told these guys going in, if you'll move the ball, we end up with 27 assists. I'm not sure where that ranks in tournament history, but if you'll move the ball, our offense is designed to beat a defense like this. So
that's Nate Oates after the game last night.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough system to defend when you're rolling, and Alabama got rolling last night, and it was one of those things where I think an underrated part of it, and Grant Nelson won the hard hat. Grant didn't have just a spectacular statistical game, but he got some big O boards, some big defensive rebounds, and then at the end of the half, he had a big block shot from the corner that allowed Alabama to go in with a 51-40 lead and didn't allow BYU to make a three, get it to 8, and then feel like they had a better shot to win it. And then I thought Alabama came out in the second half and continued to extend it. Now, BYU made a couple runs. I think the closest they got was 7 points, but that's where Aiden Holloway has come in. He's been making big shots at big times, and Alabama's lead quickly grew back to 12 because he made a big three, and then they got another conversion, and they were just able to keep BYU at arm's length, and then they did get some stops and strung them together, and then they just kept making threes because, it was just one of those things. The ball was moving. It wasn't sticking. And that's the way you have to attack, any team you play. It's how they'll have to attack the Duke Blue Devils because, Duke, they played really well last night, but so did Arizona, and Arizona scored 93 on them in regulation. So those were two high-level offensive games. Cooper Flagg was unbelievable last night with the 30 and the 7 assists, only 1 turnover. I think he had 6 rebounds, 3 steals, sold some popcorn, whatever. I mean, he did everything on the floor last night. And that was pretty much expected. Caleb Love was great for Arizona. He had 33 points of his own to keep the Wildcats in it. But it's going to take Alabama's best, effort to beat the Duke Blue Devils. I had Duke putting Alabama out, but I'll just say this: Alabama is capable of beating Duke. At least I firmly believe that. I'm anxious to watch this game and watch them play against each other. So far, of all the teams that I've seen Alabama play, that I've only seen one that was definitively better, in my opinion, and they won last night, unlike Arkansas, who choked on Sauce.
Yeah, we're going to get to that one. How about a little Mark Sears, though, after his performance last night?
Speaking of Sauce.
Even though when I was shooting 14%, my confidence was still high. I never stopped doubting myself and stopped believing in myself. And my teammates also, they kept encouraging me to keep shooting and keep shooting and keep shooting. And, that's just show trust in them that even though when I'm not at my highest peak, that they still trust me and want me to shoot the ball. So, it's a big shout out to them. And, just they went under the ball screen and I was able to get my rhythm early.
There you go. Ask any good shooter. If you can get into a rhythm early, things look good. And he even said it felt like he was throwing the ball into the ocean after he got his first couple, that first one in or whatever, and he got his rhythm early. He said it felt like I was just throwing the ball into the ocean. But the other takeaway from last night is that was Nate Oates' 11th NCAA tournament win, Wimp Sanderson holds the record, the Alabama record for NCAA tournament wins at 12. If Nate Oates can find a way and company to get a win over Duke, that would get them into the Final Four. If they could win the Final Four matchup to get to the title game, he could break the record. He could break this record this season still, is my point, obviously. But he is now one win behind Wimp Sanderson for all-time tournament wins.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty amazing, and he's only done it within year 6. And this first time ever, they're back-to-back Elite Eights for Alabama. And I was trying to do the math. Math is not my strength. That's my dad. That's my brother. That's my friends. Math, I was in summer school
I'm in
for
the
a
same
couple
boat.
summers.
That's why we're both sitting here doing this.
I just, I just asked some of my old teachers at Huntsville High when I used to hide in the library. I'm just telling you, though, I went back and tried to research it and was adding up, all the points,
right?
Because there are a couple of really interesting websites that keep up with it. I do believe with that 34-point outburst last night, Mark Sears now is number 2 all time in scoring just at the University of Alabama. Again, this is the 3 years he's been on campus with 1,944 points. He passed the great Eddie Phillips, and I believe the only one left in his wake, and he will not catch him unless he goes for about 60 points a game if they play 3 more. But that would be the great Reggie the Mule King, who finished in the 70s, so mid to late 70s, and he had over 2,100. But Mark does have nearly 2,900 overall because of his time at Ohio University.
Right.
But that doesn't count toward the Alabama total.
Right.
But still a tremendous career for Mark Sears. What a shooting performance. And now they get a chance to try to take down another Goliath, and they'll become the only team in the country, I believe, when they play Duke on Saturday night to have played all 4 number 1 seeds.
Houston, Duke, Auburn.
Yeah, because they split with Auburn, they beat Houston, and they lost twice to Florida. And so this will be their first meeting with Duke, who it looks tremendous. They certainly do. I'm anxious to see as they play against Alabama, though, if they look as good as Florida against
Auburn. Auburn has done the same thing because Auburn has faced Houston, Alabama, Florida, and Duke.
Yeah, and they'll do it too.
Yeah, so they've already done. Yeah, both of them have faced all 4 number 1 seeds.
Yeah, so it's a pretty tremendous accomplishment there. And so, they because the SEC being as strong as they are, because like I said, Auburn split with Alabama, Auburn lost to Duke, and then Auburn lost to Florida once. They played one time. They didn't play again in the SEC tournament. But again, there's no question that both of them have played all 4 number 1 seeds, which is that's pretty amazing. And that's why Alabama and Auburn, good point by you, both have the number 1 and number 2 strength of schedule. Alabama number 1 and Auburn number 2.
So the SEC, there was people that were doubting the SEC because of their first weekend results, like 8-6 or something like that.
Yeah,
they've gone 9-1 since, and that 9-1, that one mark, one loss was last night because John Calipari and
according
Arkansas.
to Carl Ravitch, that'd be 4-5 though, wouldn't it? I don't know. Idiot. Yeah.
Oh, the worst loss for the SEC who came last night. The bad loss came last night. Is that your Heimlich?
Yeah, basically. I'm sitting there watching it, yelling at the TV, cussing like, "Come on, you clowns! Make a free throw." But I mean, unfortunately, though, that's like if you've been following John Calipari's teams over the years, they're very talented, but they can't shoot free throws. If you remember 2008, I believe it was, when Bill Self got his first title thanks to Mario Chalmers in overtime. If the Memphis Tigers could have just made free throws and not choked their ass off, they would have won that game too. Well, they choked their ass off last night. The Razorbacks did. Great run by Arkansas to completely flip their season, but they had this game. Hell, they were up 13 with 4 minutes left.
Yep.
And Heimlich it away, 16 with 10 on the clock.
Yep.
And then the last shot, you just want to smack somebody. I mean, what in the blue hell was Alec? Was Wagner? Whatever the hell his first name is.
DJ Wagner.
DJ his dad was DeWan, But what in the hell, Milt Wagner's his grandfather? What are you doing on that last play? Yeah, I mean, you're just dribbling it into oblivion.
Well,
and
why
then you take a step back, and your ass ain't even behind the 3-point line either. And then he didn't even get it off before the damn buzzer. Shoot the ball, you doofus.
Why did he even have the ball? Jonell Davis had 30 points.
Well,
Carter Knox had 20.
Yeah, I'm always in favor. If you hold it for the last shot,
Right.
penetrate and kick it.
Right.
You know, unless you just have you see a lane to the rim where you can get there yourself. But to me, Arkansas should have just gone for the win, kick it out, and then and just hopefully get somebody an open shot to win the game. And I just thought, what in blue hell is that? I mean, you just dribble it into oblivion, then you try this step back AAU horse manure, and then you don't even get it off. And then to top it all off, you ought to be smacked because you're not even behind the damn 3-point line, you idiot. If you're going to take that long a shot, it should be a winning shot, not one to get you into another overtime. Just a gag job all the way around. The SEC should have won 3 out of 4. Instead, at least Florida and Alabama held it up. And we see, in other words, though, I've watched Arkansas a lot. That was kind of what they've done throughout the season. Control a game throughout, and then when it mattered most, you choke. You're just hoping in March that you finally figured some things out. Now, I will say this though: if Florida goes ahead and whacks Texas Tech, which is what I hope, it ain't going to matter. The SEC still got one in, but this would have guaranteed the SEC getting the Final Four team in. But hopefully, Florida will end Texas Tech's misery and just beat the hell out of them, and not blow my bracket all to hell.
All right. Let's get some breaths of air in. Let's get a break in. When we come back, Bryce, we'll get to you on the phone lines. It's Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Got a wreck on Greenbrier near 565. It's actually up on the overpass or the end of the ramp coming off 565 westbound. It's clear of traffic. Traffic's moving okay through that area, and it is reported as a no injury. RESPECT is coming. Shoal Scholar Dollars is bringing the celebration of the music of Aretha Franklin to UNA Monday. Tickets at shoalscholardollars.com. Captain Nick in the Valley Skywatch Traffic Center.
The Bass Pro Shops Red Crest Championship Outdoor Expo will be at the Von Braun Center April 4th, 5th, and 6th in conjunction with the MLF Red Crest Championship on Lake Gunnersville. The Outdoor Expo will be open from 11 to 6:30 daily, and the first 200 kids 14 and under on Saturday will receive a free Abu Garcia rod and reel, courtesy of WHNT News 19. There will be hourly giveaways, tackle and boat deals, seminars, and a chance to meet the pros. And it's free of charge. The Bass Pro Shops Red Crest Championship Outdoor Expo, April 4th through 6th at the BBC.
Hi, folks. Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford, inviting you to come test drive any one of our over 100 F-150s. From rock-solid, dependable work trucks to our state-of-the-art Platinum Series, we've got an F-150 for you. Test drive one today, and you'll understand why the F-150 is the best-selling truck in America, going on 48 years in a row. Just as successful offenses and defenses are built on teamwork, Woody Anderson Ford is powered by our people. Our sales and service teams are well-trained to save you time and money. And because we want your business again and again, no one will work harder to earn it. Our mobile service teams come to your home or business for oil changes, brake work, tire rotations, and more. And the great thing is you don't pay extra for it. We come to you with mobile service at no extra charge. Proud to be local, family-owned, and at your service for over 62 years. Woody Anderson Ford, Alabama's F-150 Superstore.
Isn't the story of the prodigal son an amazing story? Basically, a rowdy boy who literally wished his father dead, ran away, and consumed his wealth with hard and fast living. Yet the father looked for his return every day, and when the boy got tired of eating pig slop, he decided to return. What did the father do? As soon as he saw that boy, he ran to him, threw his arms around him, and killed the fatted calf for a great celebration. Hey, I'm John Dees, pastor of the Cross Point Church. If you're looking for a church home, come see us, smack dab across the street from the YMCA in Madison.
By now, you know about Eagle Masonry and Insulation, and maybe you know that Eagle also does landscaping and dirt work. But how about after paint work? Shower doors, shelving, and mirrors, all taken care of by Eagle, the same Eagle that takes care of all your masonry, insulation, and landscaping needs. Eagle brings the same level of expertise to all these disciplines, and they're ready to provide you with a free quote. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
Now is the time to sign up for the Eagle Installation WZZN Charity Golf Tournament to benefit the Make-A-Wish Foundation. This year's event is the morning of April 21st at Cherokee Ridge, and each member of the winning team not only gets the championship belt, but a full-year membership to Cherokee Ridge. Breakfast and lunch are provided, plus tremendous prizes and a chance to win $100,000. Cost is $800 a team or $200 per individual, and corporate sponsorships are available. Send an email to 977WZZNevents@gmail.com to reserve your spot today.
There's the phone and no one to answer.
256-576-4977.
And as a result, we got many, many phone calls and letters.
Give us a call on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline today. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
All right, we're back Friday morning. 7:23. By the way, safe travels into work, into school, wherever you're going to be headed on a Friday morning. Your high today is 79 degrees. So get on out and enjoy the afternoon, enjoy the evening. And then just like it was last night, you can buckle up and get ready for some Sweet 16 madness. We've got 4 more games coming your way this evening. We'll start breaking some of those down here in a little bit. Let's go out to the phone lines. Bryce is with us. Good morning, Bryce.
Morning, Bryce.
Good morning, gentlemen. Well, my bracket's looking pretty good still.
Yeah, I'm solid. You know, I had Alabama and Duke. I got that regional final exactly right. So I'm good. You know, in the East region, and then I did have the Gators in the Elite Eight, no doubt. I did not have Arkansas, so that didn't matter. But I was just ranting because it should have been 3 out of 4 to make Stuart Mandel's head explode. But, you know, they didn't get it done, and Texas Tech got there. But it was a good day for the SEC, and I've still got, all my Final Four intact and most of the Elite Eight. So good so far. I didn't have Texas Tech, but I didn't have Arkansas either, so it didn't hurt me too badly.
Yeah. Well, I didn't have Arkansas, but I don't know if I told you my bracket. I got Alabama beating Duke and making it to the Final Four. And then I got them beating Tennessee and playing Florida in the championship and winning it all.
I mean,
wow.
That's
Finally get past Florida. You know, if they play like they played last night, they can beat anybody.
Well,
There's no question about it.
There's no doubt. Now, I'm not counting on them making 25 threes against Duke. I hope they do, but if they play at an efficiency level like that and are locked in, I definitely think they can beat the Blue Devils, but it's going to take their best game of the year.
It's the assist that makes you happy from last night. It's sharing the basketball that makes you happy. Point. You're not going to get a lot of those open looks that you got last night on Saturday, but if you can share the basketball, you're going to have a better chance of creating those open looks.
And what Alabama's got to do too, and they had to do it last night in the second half, when Mo, Larry, and Curley decide they're going to go from not calling much to calling every little thing overall, every little touch foul, you got to play through it because they were doing that last night, and BYU was getting away with some stuff that they were I kind of felt like the officials were kind of trying to keep the Cougars in the game, but still you got to play through that because officiating in the NCAA tournament's a big part of it.
I just found something out I'm not going to eat. I'm sorry. I cannot eat that. All right.
It's amazing, Drew, that good minds think a lot alike. I thought the same thing you just said.
Yeah.
It would have been a 30-point blowout way earlier than it was if that hadn't took place, what you just talked about. And I agree with you 100%. But Alabama, and I don't know if a lot of people saw that this defense has really turned it up since Oates didn't call a timeout, and everybody was freaking out about it because when Florida was beating them, he wanted them to get tougher. Mm-hmm. And I think it's worked because they have got tougher on defense. That's the difference in this team since the tournament is defense.
Right.
If they play defense like that, yeah, like you said, I know you're not going to hit that many threes, but you play defense, you're going to win a lot of games like that.
No question.
Yeah. But I guarantee you, and the one thing Nate Oates will take away from last night, and I guarantee you when they go back and they watch the film and they start breaking things down, he will say that, look, we can't let teams, and Duke is really good at this, we can't let teams get straight line drives and drive to the rim.
Right.
BYU was able to get to the rim. Now, changing threes for twos, you're going to come out on top every time. But Alabama's going to have to seal off that lane a little bit better against Duke because BYU was able to get to the rim last night.
Yeah. They were. They got a lot of points in the paint. They're going to need to work on that. And I agree with you 100%. But it's just I'm fired up. They played their best game that they played last night. As far as shooting and everything, they've been needing a night like that. But however, they just keep playing defense, and like you said, they got to work on getting people out of the paint, and shutting them off. But there was a lot of times that, just like Drew said, those guys in the striped shirt, they were leaning way the other way, and they didn't want Alabama to win this basketball game because they kept them right in the game, anything they could do. I mean, some of the stuff was just so obvious.
Well, you just got to play through it, and they did a good job of it last night.
Exactly, they did.
All right, Bryce, thanks for the phone call, bud.
Thank you, Bryce.
I think Noto is a better coach than this guy from Duke. You're out coaching. I appreciate y'all.
No problem.
Thanks, Bryce.
Shire's done a great job, though. I'm not going to say anything about that. Everybody knows what I think of the Duke program, but I was already asked by some people last night, including my own father, who you rooting for? Let's take the next call.
Are you gonna? Do you need a split jersey? Do you need an Alabama one, Duke one, so you can wear it at the same time?
No. I'll just answer Kelvin Sampson, just like some stupid ass asked him at his press conference yesterday. Are you worried about Purdue having a de facto home game? No.
Let me set this up. Drew DeArmond, question for you. Are you going to be rooting for Duke at all on Saturday, or is this a Alabama all the way type of game?
Next call.
Oh, let's go out to the phone lines. Pat from Tuscaloosa is with us. Good morning, Pat.
Guys, hey, I just forgave Tommy Tuberville for Fear to Thumb. They just came on an announcement down in Tuscaloosa in between on the radio and Wimp show that Tommy was all for the arrest of the thug that Alabama's been protecting for the last 2 or 3 years that was arrested and let go, and they've been kind of hiding him out, telling him that he's okay. These sanctuary cities, I'm against sanctuary cities. I'm against universities. I'm against the Palestinians up there being protested in this country, using our Bill of Rights against us with my tax dollars. I'm against all of that crap. But what I called y'all about is Cooper Flagg looked like, I thought he was all hype till I watched it last night when he came down the court prior to halftime and pulled up and shot a half-court jumper. That was impressive all net. And he looked like Larry Bird. The fact that he might be Larry's illegitimate child, Drew, that he's same height, 6'9", that unreal. What do you think?
Well, I mean, first of all, he is a lot more athletic than Larry Bird, but as far as some of the swagger and some of the skill set, I don't disagree at all. But I'll say Larry's a better shooter, but Cooper is definitely capable of making threes. He can pass the ball, great rebounder. His strength, in my opinion, as a player is his his ability to slash and get to the rim, and his body control. Body control is so underrated. People don't understand that. That's kind of the difference between him and a Kevin, or excuse me, and a Grant Nelson. Grant has athleticism, but he doesn't have the body control and the ability to dribble like Cooper Flagg. Cooper Flagg can dribble the ball like a guard.
Yeah.
And he's so long. He's got almost a 7-foot wingspan, and he's an unselfish kid. Now he could be a black hole and take more shots than he does, but he does a great job. His vision's really good, looking for his teammates. He also defends. Like last night, I've just watched LeDum let the Lakers lose on a half-court shot because he gave a half-ass effort on defense. It's shocking to everybody here because they talked yesterday. They spent a whole day on his tip-in. Don't know if they're going to talk about how they blew the game against the Bulls last night, and the Bulls suck, by the way. But anyway,
the most NBA talk you've spilled out in a long time.
But what I'm trying to say though is that he ran the floor and blocked one into the third row. I mean, he had like 3 or 4 blocks last night. He is as good a player as I've ever seen. I had a chance to watch him against Huntsville High, and he only played about 15, 16 minutes in that game. But his skill set is otherworldly with what he can do. I mean, he's just a tremendous, and he's got a great competitive fire. He plays the game the right way. I have nothing negative to say about Cooper Flagg. To me, he's as good a prospect as come out of college basketball in 25 years, and he's the Codlock #1 pick. And hopefully he won't face the scrutiny that Caitlin Clark did from a bunch of idiots that don't know anything either.
Oh yeah. Come over. You got to be on our side in order for us to accept you.
Yeah,
and that's on the woke side.
Oh yeah, but like I said, what I saw of Cooper Flagg, I'm a believer now. I'm still taking Alabama to win this basketball game. I wish that I quit gambling when I was in college, but if I was a gambler, I'd have sure took them early because I think this line's going to change and it'll probably go back to a 2 or 3 point game.
Yeah, the early I heard was did somebody say 3.5?
Right now it's sitting at Duke 6.5.
6.5. Wow,
that's what ESPN has right now. They have 6.5. Now it's going to change.
Right. Interesting.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I said. It would take 6.5 early. But I think Alabama wins outright, and we go on to the Final Four. And hey, the good news is that my daughter-in-law just called me and told me she's got a ticket for me to the Final Four.
Oh wow!
There you go, San Antonio.
Yeah,
you're getting the front row treatment, brother.
Yep. Hey. Y'all have a blessed day, guys.
All right. Thanks, Pat.
Appreciate you.
Cody Myers on Facebook, Drew, says, don't feel bad. My dad's in the same position. He's been a Duke/Bama fan as long as he can remember. He's a huge Duke basketball fan. He says, I told him yesterday that it's a win-win game for him. Laugh out loud.
Well, I mean, our good friend Becky Plott, she's the athletic director for the middle school over at JP2 and also an assistant girls basketball coach. She's a big Duke fan, has been her whole life, and in addition to being a Hall of Famer at UAH, and she's basically going to isolate herself from her family, and she is going to continue to root for Duke, even though the rest of her family is Alabama fans, including our good friend Charlie, but who's been in here many times for plot performance.
Yes.
But it is what it is. I mean, again, I do love the Blue Devils, but I'm a diehard Alabama fan. I don't mind saying that on this show, and I'm going to be rooting for Alabama. Duke's got 5 championships. Duke's got, I think 17 Final Fours, 25 Elite Eights, whatever the hell it is. And Alabama's just got 2. And I'd like to see Alabama get back to the Final Four with a chance to win it. Now, I fully understand who's on the other side of the bracket, Florida, who looks like a juggernaut still. Until they lose, to me, I think they're the favorite over Duke. I think that I watched Duke last night, and I want to watch Alabama play against Duke, but if Duke really handles Alabama, then maybe I'll change my mind. But I think Alabama can play Duke. I think it's at least going to be a great basketball game with Alabama having a chance. And right now, Florida has been as good as any team I've seen. At least that's what I thought all year. I know they only beat UConn by 2, but UConn was the 2-time defending national champ with Dan Hurley as coach. And they did a great job of preparing. And there's always that game that you got to get by to win it. And Florida did that. And then I thought Florida handled business last night. But what about Kevin Willard? You're getting cussed and just basically
Kevin Willard. So when Maryland left the hotel yesterday, Maryland left the hotel to get on their bus. And when you go to these Sweet 16 matchups at this point, the pep bands, the cheerleaders, everybody make a little walk
like
for
your
you.
fan base knows what hotel you're staying at, so they try to stay there.
Yes, and they form a line. Right. You get to walk out of the hotel. All the cheering section is there.
Walk, whatever you want to call it.
Tiger Walk, Crimson Tide Walk, whatever it is. It's all there. Yes, it's all there. Kevin Willard got booed yesterday from the moment he got off the elevator. Yes.
There was Willard, and I didn't say it.
No. They were booing him and swearing at him.
They were swearing.
But he's created this whole mess himself, though.
Well, it's not all his fault because, his athletic director is leaving. Damon
He
Evans,
doesn't have one, and the president is trying to negotiate this deal. Who's botching
Damon
it up
Evans,
bad.
I believe he used to be the AD at Georgia.
Yes.
But yes, he's leaving for SMU.
Yes, and the president is trying to handle this, and he is botching it up bad to the point where the president said, we are going to have a major announcement tomorrow. And this was like 2 days, it's like 48 hours ago. Yeah. No, he was talking and he got asked about Willard, the president did, and said, we're going to have a major announcement tomorrow. You know what the announcement was?
Great. I can't.
That Kermit the Frog is going to be the commencement speaker at graduation.
I'm doing my Kermit the Frog right now.
Got to get a break in. I kid you not. Talking Ball 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A mostly cloudy sky this afternoon, but we are going to be quite warm across the Tennessee Valley. Temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 70s, only dropping into the mid and upper 50s as we head into the overnight early into your Saturday morning, maintaining that cloudy sky through Saturday afternoon. Temperatures are going to be a little bit lower across the area. Highs going to climb into the low and mid 70s, which is still above where we should be this time of year. Scattered showers and thunderstorms are going to be possible Saturday afternoon, but there are going to be significant periods of dry time, and not everybody's going to get wet. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
By now, you know about Eagle Masonry and Insulation, and maybe you know that Eagle also does landscaping and dirt work. But how about after paint work? Shower doors, shelving, and mirrors, all taken care of by Eagle, the same Eagle that takes care of all your masonry, insulation, and landscaping needs. Eagle brings the same level of expertise to all these disciplines, and they're ready to provide you with a free quote. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
Have you discovered Good Company Cafe? The place for breakfast, brunch, lunch, and so much more. Enjoy brunch all day and pair with one of our many seasonal refreshing drinks, including alcoholic and non-alcoholic options. Choose inside or outside on our gorgeous, spacious, dog-friendly patio and have some fun with friends playing yard games in the courtyard. See catering, to-go options, and lots more at goodcompany-cafe.com. Good Company Cafe, 7500 South Memorial Parkway.
Hey there, Bob Baumhauer again. March Madness is here, and it's time to hoop it up at Baumhauer's Victory Grill with our Slam Dunk specials. It's nothing but net with a pound of our world-famous wings. Tip it off with our party-ready trays, including traditional wings, buttermilk fried chicken tenders, and hot lips, to name a few. Want a cold beer with those wings? How about $7.99 pitchers of Yingling served all day, 7 days a week? Break out those brackets and bring the gang to the best watch party place in town, Baumhauer's Victory Grill, the true king of wings.
Hi, this is Wes Neighbors. I'm here with Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Sam, tell the folks about Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Hey, Wes. Our company, Fleming Roofing and Restoration, specializes in commercial and residential roofing and repairs. I'm a fifth-generation Huntsvillian, and our family's been doing construction business in Huntsville area since 1965.
Sam, what kind of roofs does Fleming Roofing and Restoration do?
Our guys are skilled enough. We can come out and address any kind of leaks or issues you might have on your commercial, on your metal roofing, on your shingles. We can do anything, and we can offer you a solution to repair it, or we can replace it.
But you guys also do insurance restoration.
Our staff has 10 plus years of experience as insurance adjusters, and we really do know the inside and out of the claims process at Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Check out Fleming Roofing and Restoration online at FlemingHSV.com, or you can call or text them at 256-651-9440.
Hey, Wes, we show up.
Now is the time to sign up for the Eagle Installation WZZN Charity Golf Tournament to benefit the Make-A-Wish Foundation. This year's event is the morning of April 21st at Cherokee Ridge, and each member of the winning team not only gets the championship belts, but a full year membership to Cherokee Ridge. Breakfast and lunch are provided, plus tremendous prizes and a chance to win $100,000. Cost is $800 a team or $200 per individual, and corporate sponsorships are available. Send an email to 977WZZNevents@gmail.com to reserve your spot today.
We are your home for March Madness.
Dribbling left, big step down the lane, runner for the win.
We are 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Yesterday,
All my troubles seem so far away.
Okay, I got it. Okay, so we got to catch up with Auburn because they're playing tonight.
Right.
We got to look ahead. But that song right there feeds right into what we were talking during the break, and I feel so bad for him. Coach Tony Poole, all his troubles just seem so far away, all that stuff, because Jakari Lane has put his name in the transfer portal from UNA. Look, Jakari Lane had phenomenal seasons at North Alabama, and this is what you see. When a guy like that has so much success that he is going to put his name in the portal because he is going to make some money. It's sad to say, but that's the way we are, so we might as well just say it. He is going to make some money at a Division I program.
Well, I mean, he almost did a year ago, but UNA stepped up and he decided to stay, and they brought Tay Fields in from the Division II level, and UNA had their best season ever since they've become a full-fledged Division I program. They were co-champions of the Atlantic Sun. They finished runner-up in the conference tournament to our good friend Lenny Acuff and the Lipscomb Bison, who made the NCAA tournament. We know UNA made the NIT. They did not get a win there, but what a year for UNA Lion basketball. And I mean, love Jakari Lane. I love everything he's about. I don't blame him for because he has 1 year of eligibility remaining. And he does have pro aspirations, and he's done enough at the mid-major level to garner high major interest. That's just the bottom line. And there's a lot of coaching changes going on around college basketball, and not to mention assistant coaches moving around as well when these hires are made. And so he's going to put his name in the portal, see what happens. I can't blame him. Certainly, I'm sure UNA has already got a backup plan as far as maybe try to replace him, but he's really irreplaceable. He's been their best Division I player in this era for UNA. He's led the way for them, been the face of their program, but this is kind of the tough part, where and Charles Barkley was talking about this on their coverage last night about a lot of the Power 4 programs cherry picking the mid majors. But I will say what it does do, though. It's a trickle down effect. It gets more kids an opportunity to maybe sign with a Division II school, or even get an opportunity to go to a mid major and then move up. You're moving up, but it always opens another opportunity for someone else. But we love Jakari just because of what he's about.
Oh yes,
he will be in the Huntsville-Madison County Hall of Fame. He will be in the UNA Hall of Fame. What he's done for Tony Poole, North Alabama, and UNA is you can't replicate it. It's been a great fit there, and we'll see where his journey takes him. But you can't blame him for looking around. Now, it's a little frustrating when a guy like Rylan Griffin does that with Alabama for more money from Kansas. That blew up in his face. But in the case of Jakari Lane, he's one of the 2 or 3 best players in the Atlantic Sun Conference, and this is kind of just like when we talked to Coach Acuff, during this journey, and he talked about his best player, and he's got a year of eligibility left, and he was one of the 2 to 3 best players in the league, and so you're expecting him to Lenny. Let's be honest, I don't think Lenny's expecting him back, and so
which one?
His big man.
Oh yes,
yeah. And so
yes,
I struggle pronouncing the name correctly. Is the only reason why I didn't try to roll it off my tongue.
It's Von. Yeah,
I believe it's Ignatovich.
Ignazovic. Yes, Ignazovic.
Ignazovic. I'm trying to,
Ignazovic.
Jacob Ignazovic. I mean, he's a
I have it
Wisconsin
written
kid.
down.
Yeah. But he's a tremendous player. He reminds me of Zane Campbell at UAH. He's a stretch 4, Ignazovic, and he averaged close to 20 and 10 for the Bison. Again, forgive me if I'm not pronouncing it exactly right. I haven't tongue of I load it yet where I can just roll it. But Lenny Acuff is not expecting him back because they kind of agreed that he missed most of the previous year to injury. He came back this year, Ignatovich, and became one of the 3 best players in the league. But I think they're expecting him to move on. I think he would be, better off after watching him play, staying and playing for Lenny. I think he'd be, again, maybe player of the year in the league, maybe help him get him back to the NCAA tournament. But that's just the way it is. And Lenny, he told us on his show, he lost his, his center, who was looking like he was going to be an all-conference player for the majority of the season this year. And then you have to wait and see what happened. And we know John Schulman, who we had on the show, has already lost his point guard.
Yes, he did. And he knew Coach Schulman expected him to go. I mean, he was like, there's no way. When we were up in Nashville and had a chance to visit with him off to the side for a while, he said several times that there was no way he was going to be able to keep his point guard. There was just no way. He's like, I don't have the resources. He's like, I've got money. He goes, but I've got to make that. He goes, the money that I have total is what he is going to get going to another program.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have what he's going to get.
In other words, a few $100,000.
Yes. All right, 7:48. Let's get that final break in. When we come back, we'll start setting the table for what is ahead tonight, Sweet 16.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Looks like they just cleared that wreck on Greenbrier over 565. Got one of Muscle Shoals, Wilson Dam Road and Highway 20. Got 65 northbound at 565. And we got one in Hartselle, 31 northbound, south of 36. Expert heart care backed by advanced technology. When you need cardiac care, you need the heart doctor. Dr. Randall Burns and the team at Huntsville Heart Specialist on Bob Wallace Avenue. Captain Nick in the Valley Skywatch Traffic Center.
I'm here with Stan McDonald of Jacob Title. Stan, I've heard that every real estate closing at Jacob Title is a very big deal. Why is that?
Wes, I'm reminded of a very impactful statement that I heard from Coach Gene Stallings years ago when he talked about big games and little games. He said he didn't like that comparison. He says, because try losing one of those little games. And if you ever do, it ends up being the biggest game all year long. Well, it's the same thing with real estate closings. Every game, every closing is a very big deal at Jacob Title. Because when it's your closing and your contract on the line, it's a very big deal. And we understand that at Jacob Title.
So it sounds like whether your client is a first-time residential buyer or a multi-million-dollar investor, they can expect your A game.
That's exactly right. As a matter of fact, when you bring your real estate closing to us at Jacob Title, we understand it's all about trust and confidence. And when Stan McDonald tells you that a chicken dips snuff, you can look under his wing for the box.
And like Beams likes to say, there's no doubt about it.
Atlanta Braves spring training is on from Florida, and this 2025 Brave squad is ready to get after it in Northport.
And he waylays this thing way downtown. Swung on a fly ball, deep left center field, heading towards the gap, that is down for a base hit. Acuna hits the bag at third. Here he comes. Michael Harris taking no prisoners. It's a sweep.
97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Mike Rowe here with a quick question. Have you noticed cracks in your drywall, chimney, or exterior walls? I hope not, because if you have, they could be indications that you've got a much bigger problem with your foundation. That's where AFS comes in, a groundworks company. They can honestly assess your situation and create a plan to stabilize your foundation. Schedule your free inspection at afsrepair.com/row. And while you're there, check out my latest dirty job. It's a good one.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
Hi, my name is Dan Aldridge. I'm here to let you know about the Aldridge Law Firm and the soon-to-be-announced Legal Town Center. I've been practicing law in Alabama since 1984, and I also practice in Tennessee. And I'm from North Alabama, and I'm here to represent you and take care of your legal needs. For many of us, hiring an attorney is not high on the priority list and maybe a little scary, but it's something that we all need at some point. So by all means, do your homework. And if you need representation for car accident, wrongful death, medical malpractice, nursing home abuse, or estate planning, or any other matter, just give us a call at 256-534-3188. And you can email me at Dan, that is Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. God bless America.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
This segment of Talkin' Ball is brought to you by University Kia, the #1 volume Kia dealer in the state of Alabama. Located online at universitykia.com.
There we go. Friday vibes for you. A Southern night. You're going to have to experience. If you've never felt the Southern night, you're going to have to experience this evening because you're going to have to stay up to watch the Auburn Tigers take on Michigan in Atlanta.
Yeah, we're about to have Brian Matthews on live. I'm sure he's in Atlanta.
He can get a little bit of rest. And
I got another food report for him because I decided last night I was keyed up watching basketball, and I just decided to hell with it. I'm not going out anywhere getting any food.
What did you dump Uncle Keith's on next?
Chili. Put it in a bowl of chili.
I imagine that's good.
It was good.
Probably gave it a little bit of a
kick.
Southwestern kick to it.
Did,
yeah.
along with some mustard.
Bruce Pearl. Here's Bruce Pearl met the media yesterday in Atlanta. Here's what Coach. Got to connect it to the road. I had everything connected to the roadcaster. Now I got to reconnect it. There we go. Here's Coach.
Maybe even the Final Four. We're good enough to beat Creighton if we're good enough to beat Michigan. And of course, the survive and advance thing, I think that's really true the first and second round for one seed. It is about survive and advance for the top seeds. You get to this point, we feel like we're playing for a national championship now. And we have 4 times we're going to have to do it. That's how we feel. I'm just telling you how I feel. You don't feel like you're playing for the national championship in the first and second round. I love Coach Izzo because of his authenticity. I love him because he's so 100% real, and I love him because he speaks for the coaches he represents us extremely well. But at the same time, remember this: nobody loves his student athletes more than Tom Izzo. Nobody. And so he gets the idea that we're finally able to compensate our student athletes, and we're finally getting caught up in a system that was just delayed in recognizing the value of our student athletes. And at the same time, I think what happened in the questioning, somebody was asking him about where he was in the portal, like he's going to be worrying about it. I'm not worried about it right now, and neither is he. And it's not taking any time away from him. The adjustments, we still have guys at Auburn that have been here 4 and 5 years. Dylan Cardwell, 5 years. Chris Moore, 5 years. Last year, Jalen Williams was 5 years. I mean, just we're still doing it the old-fashioned way. At the same time, we have added some tremendous pieces through the transfer portal. Most of our transfer portal guys were guys that were from junior college, Division II, mid-major. I'm so proud of a guy like Janai Broom, who comes from a very mid-major background.
Janai Broom,
not Johnny. Janai.
I thought Auburn picked up a new player. Yeah. But anyway, what Bruce Pearl.
Well, it could have been worse. It could have been Johnny Brome.
That's true. What Bruce was alluding to there, remember, we played you Tom Izzo's comments earlier in the week about.
Yeah, because some idiot asked him about the transfer.
Right.
Portal.
So that's what Bruce was kind of alluding to.
I mean, not Auburn, excuse me.
Play
Ole Miss. I mean, I don't want to pull a Jeff Goodman.
They're in the same spot, though.
Yeah,
they're in the same place.
Michigan State and Ole Miss, you're worried about playing them. Some idiot's asking you about the transfer portal and you know what you might do. I mean, but trust me, I watched some of these press conferences. You wouldn't believe some of the stuff that even John Shire was asked last night. I mean, stumble and bumble. I mean, what? I mean, it's just where we are in the media, though. You can tell.
Yes.
I just Ronnie Staple, I know you're listening right now. We need to trademark your plumbers comment. A lot of plumbers in the media too, man.
Well, you give a kid a podcast and they think they're part of the media.
I mean, it's just some of these questions and the timing of them and what they're asking. I mean, now I understand the Kevin Willard situation. If you're asking, are you going to go, what's your future after you lose? That's out there. Okay. You have to ask that question.
Well,
some of this stuff
not about leaving, but he put out there about Maryland and everything
and then
else.
He said, I don't know what I'm going to do, which is code for where's the plane at?
Yeah. He basically, Kevin Willard stepped into it himself. But at the same time, too, a lot of people are saying, well, you know what? When a coach does that, and Bruce Pearl, and they all kind of do it, and Nick Saban was probably the best at it. They all work through the media to deliver a message at somehow in some way. Is Kevin Willard trying to deliver a message to Maryland saying, hey, look, step up your facility, step up your NIL, step up my contract, step up whatever you got to do. If you want to keep me, step it up to do it. Tom Izzo, Bruce Pearl, they all deliver a message through the media somehow.
Well, here's a guy that's not a plumber. I listened to his podcast with Jeff Goodman. That's Robbie Hummel, former Purdue All-American Big Ten Player of the Year, played several years in the pros. He talked about, and this really almost happened. You probably remember this several years ago. Matt Painter almost went to Missouri, but he held Purdue's feet to the fire.
Yeah,
and he got what he wanted out of Purdue, and we've seen how it's benefited the Boilermakers. He nearly left for Missouri, just like Rick Barnes almost went to UCLA until Tennessee stepped up.
Yeah, you're right. All right, the Auburn Tigers. We heard from Bruce
on this show.
Brian Matthews is not a plumber.
No,
he is in Atlanta getting ready, hopefully, to watch the Tigers tonight. Eating some Uncle Keith's. It's almost Uncle Keith's time in Atlanta. He's eating it. We'll figure it out what they got to do to get a win. All that next.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. AI-powered betting models to help you make sharper picks during March Madness. Free 7-day trial available now at rhythm.com. That's RITHMM.com.
Auburn Tigers playing today in the Sweet 16 at the Prudential Center in Newark, New Jersey against BYU. The Crimson Tide laying 5.5 points, a total 175.5. The winner will get either Duke or Arizona in the East Region Final. Duke, the 9.5-point favorite over the Wildcats. Auburn Tigers meet the Michigan Wolverines at State Farm Arena in Atlanta in the South Region semifinal tomorrow. The Tigers 9.5-point favorites, 153.5 the total. Michigan State a 3.5-point favorite over Ole Miss in the other regional semifinal. Braves at Chris Sale on the mound, $1.30 favorite today at San Diego. For more, go to VSIN.com. Mike Sennett, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
WCZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
SportsMed is the official team physicians of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. And if the pros trust SportsMed, you can too. SportsMed provides every service you might need for complete orthopedic care, specializing in orthopedic surgery, sports medicine, joint replacement, spine surgery, neurosurgery, and podiatry. And they offer their own brace shop, in-house full-body MRI, physical therapy, walk-in clinic, and so much more. 4 locations and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com.
This hour brought to you by SportsMed Orthopedic and Spine Center. Online at sportsmedalabama.com. Welcome to Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
All right, welcome back. Talking Ball 97.7 ESPN. The Zone Hour 2 is officially underway. We got 59 more minutes of this extravaganza here. Of course, SportsMed Orthopedic Surgery and Spine Center helping us fulfill these last 59 minutes of the show. 256-881-5151. Jot on over there. Experience the sports med difference. You got nicks, bruises, and all that other stuff. Get on over there. Let them take a look at you. 256-881-5151. You can experience the sports med difference. They are the official medical providers for the UAH Chargers, and the Rocket City Trash Pandas. Oh, nothing better than seeing that happen.
Great defensive effort there by LeBron.
He
did get his arm above his head.
Yeah. Now, because he did that, he probably needs to go see Sportsmed Orthopedic Surgery and Spine Center and take a week off because it's load management. He lifted his arm above his head, and he'll need to take a week off because he exerted so much energy.
Well,
the Auburn Tigers are hoping to exert some energy night in Atlanta and get on to the Elite Eight. You heard Bruce Pearl before the hour ended there saying, you know what? Survive and advance, yes, in rounds 1 and 2. But when you get to the Sweet 16, the focus is on getting to a national championship.
Well, guard play wins in March, and Alabama's guards were tremendous last night. I think Auburn's are going to be the key to this game tonight, and they're playing against their former teammate, Trey Donaldson, who's now the point guard for the Michigan Wolverines. This is going to be fascinating. Damari Burnett, former Alabama guard as well. But Tahad Pettiford, what a game he had against Creighton. What a second half he had against Alabama State. Miles Kelly was great against Alabama State. Not as good against Creighton, but he's still very, very capable, as we know. Certainly, Denver Jones, I thought, was really, really good, especially the second half against Creighton. This is a really potent Auburn backcourt, that I think can play at a very high level, and they're going to have to coming up tonight against Dusty May's really well-coached Michigan team. We already know the battle of the big men. We're going to talk about that with our next guest. He's since 2001 covered the Auburn Tigers. He's with AuburnSports.com, part of the Rivals Network. And, of course, we're talking about Brian Matthews. Brian, good morning.
Good morning, guys. How are y'all doing?
I know. Are you in Atlanta yet, or are you going later today?
I am leaving here in about 7-ish hours or so. So, yeah, I'm going to make the trip over there, and it's going to be a late one, but looking forward to it.
So late, I can
Brian,
understand
that's got to be a heck of a feeling when you can cover a Sweet 16 matchup and leave a few hours before the matchup and just jaunt over there.
So
and
late.
The day of. Because normally these places, they're so far away that you got to go the day before and you got to stay. You just get to jaunt over to Atlanta and just swander on in.
Save a little on that flight and that hotel too. So that's a big A+ there. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It should be a really good Auburn crowd. I think a lot of Auburn folks who may have had the ability to go to one of these skipped out on Kentucky, hoping that Auburn would be here in Atlanta, and here they are.
Yeah, and I know I've been watching some of these other games, and last night there was empty seats at times. I don't expect any for either of these sessions, though. The tickets have been absolutely, in demand, and like we said, I know the Auburn fan base. We even know some of them here in Huntsville that are going that got their tickets months ago. They kind of crossed their fingers and toes this was going to happen.
Yeah, and I think people are really fired up for this. Excited to see Auburn get out of that first and second round for the first time in, I guess, 6 years now, and have a chance now to see if they can get into the Elite Eight for the third time in program history and maybe the Final Four again. So it's going to be an exciting couple of days for Auburn basketball. I think Michigan's a quality team. You mentioned they're well coached. I agree with that. They've got those big dudes inside. I think Auburn does have an advantage, though, on the perimeter with their guard play. And I want to make a guarantee right now. If Auburn makes 26 three-pointers and scores 113 points, I am guaranteeing an Auburn win tonight, guys.
That's awesome. There we go. Book it.
Book it, Dano.
Yeah.
And Drew mentioned the guard play. The guard play in Bruce Pearl's system, the guard play has to be on. Last year, we saw the guard play go up and down. It was a roller coaster of a season for the guards, and we all know how it ended. It ended with a loss to Yale in the tournament. Yes, guard play has been much, much better this year, and that is a lot to do with the inside play, or inside out. But if Auburn is to play well tonight, the guards are going to have to play at a high level.
Yeah, it'd be great if Miles Kelly comes out there and busts a three just to get things started. That to me, or Denver Jones, he has that same ability. That to me gets that whole lineup going. But I think this is a night for Auburn's guards. I don't think Janai Broome or Dylan Cardwell or Chaney Johnson are going to, necessarily have, great career nights against those 2 7-footers unless they somehow run into foul trouble. I think on the opposite side, it's important that Auburn does avoid foul trouble with those inside guys, because if they do get in foul trouble, that could really hurt Auburn inside with the rebounding and such. So that'll be something to watch early. Auburn's interior defense avoiding fouls, and then how well the perimeter players play, whether it's popping threes or whether it's driving in there as they did against Creighton in the second half and finishing over a 7-footer with layups or those floaters.
Well, and I'll just say this too: we didn't really mention him in the in our opening of the segment, but I do think his health is very important, and his ability to defend and maybe even lock up Trey Donaldson. Chad Baker-Mazara is going to play a big part of this.
He is, and I'm expecting him to be, as close to 100% as you can be in March. When you're playing these big games against these other really quality athletic teams. And Denver Jones will be a key piece of that perimeter defense. Miles Kelly has stepped up defensively since he transferred over from Georgia Tech, returning to his. Is that his hometown? I know, of course, he played there at Georgia Tech for 3 years. I'm not sure where his hometown is, but it'll be a lot of players going somewhere that they're really familiar with. Auburn played there a couple of months ago to Ohio State and shot really well and won that game going away.
Well, I consider it. He's from Stone Mountain, so
there you go.
It's all
a suburb area. Yeah. It's a conglomerate of Atlanta.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm from Doraville, so I know all about that.
Yeah, there you go. So I mean, he's basically going to be in his backyard, and he shot it really well in the first round game. Now he wasn't as good against Creighton, but he's very, very capable. We know that he's been big and he's fearless. He made a big shot to beat Tennessee in Neville Arena. He's made big shots all season. So, again, and then with Janai Broome, I think he's probably secretly relishing this opportunity. I mean, Golden and Wolf are really good, but with the transfer portal now, Auburn gets another shot at Wolf. He's a unique player. But I'm anxious to see Dylan Cardwell and how, if he can go, how maybe, do you think he matches up with Wolf? Because here's the thing that I love about watching Cardwell. I watched that whole second half against Creighton, and the thing about Dylan Cardwell is he is so mobile for a big. He did a great job being able to guard on the perimeter and being able to drop back and be a rim protector for Bruce Pearl.
Yeah, and Wolf is more the mobile guy, the guy who gets some assist in there, moves around, can pop out for a three every once in a while. I think he's made 35 or 36. So to me, that's the guy you want to match Dylan up with. Although Auburn does switch a lot, so you never know what's going to happen during an offensive set or whatever. But that makes the most sense to me. I do think Janai can have success inside against those guys because of his quickness.
Yeah,
his ability, his touch around the basket. He can still beat bigger, stronger guys just because they're just not ready to defend. His quick move and that quick little, left-handed layup he has, or he can go right too if he needs to. But I do think that that will basically be evened out. If it's not evened out, if it goes Michigan's way there, that could be some issues for Auburn.
So I don't know if it's a big deal or not, but, Auburn only plays 7 guys. They had to play 8 in the win against Creighton. But the one extra day, Auburn started this journey on I believe, was it Thursday, Saturday. They played Thursday, Saturday in that first thing. Now they're playing Friday, Sunday. How big of a deal is it to have that one extra day of rest for this Auburn team? Because they don't have a lot of depth, but you're coming off, you get a full week of rest a little bit before you play this game tonight.
I think that's really big. I think Auburn needs that because they expend a lot of energy. This team is not a team loaded with NBA prospects. It's a team that plays really hard, plays great defense, has a lot of experience, and just puts out a lot of energy. And I think it's not just this week, but you had that time off between the season and the SEC tournament with the double bye. You had that time off from the SEC tournament to the NCAA because Auburn went out, there in the semifinals. That was another 6 days and 6 days, I think. So you're talking almost, 3 weeks, 18 days or so that Auburn's had, quote unquote, off down the stretch here down the last 3 weeks. So I think that's a big boost for them to get healed up and healthy and sort of get that reset.
Well, and you've seen them up close twice. I think that Ole Miss is being slept on. I think they got a good shot against Michigan State. You can put your analyst hat on for Auburn's. Maybe if Auburn can get this done against Michigan, their opponent. Who do you like in the Michigan State Ole Miss game?
Well, Michigan State plays elite defense, and Auburn has used its pretty good defense to shut down. Well, not shut down, but have success against Ole Miss. So, in that way, I like Michigan State, but Ole Miss to me is that hot team in the tournament. They're shooting really well. Maybe not as hot as Alabama last night, but they're shooting very, very well right now. They seem to have it going. But Michigan State with their defense, their rebounding, I just think that's going to be a tough thing to cover to overcome. Plus, you're going against a Hall of Fame coach who's had a week, almost a week to prepare. So I think that's going to be a tough one for Ole Miss, but we'll see.
Yeah, and then
so I mean, Brian, ultimately we talked a lot about it, but I mean, Chaney Johnson again, he came out first game in the NCAA tournament, looked better, played decent against Creighton. He's going to have to be a big factor tonight.
Yeah, he's a guy that, sometimes he'll come into that first rotation and get 2 quick fouls, and that really hurts Auburn. So again, I think the most important thing for him is just to go out there, play defense, be as physical as he can, but just don't bend over, reach, do the little things that end up getting him those silly foul calls. He could be a big impact to this game. I think Auburn needs Janai, Dillon, and Chaney, all three of them, to go against those 2 7-footers. Those 2 7-footers can score, they can rebound, they can do all those things. Whereas Dillon's not necessarily a scorer. Dillon and Chaney aren't necessarily, highly productive rebounders. I think they all three got to combine there to sort of match what the 2 7-footers from Michigan bring to the table.
Yeah, and Golden and Wolf. But here's a crazy thing. I was just looking at the stats for Auburn just to in the way, because Scott was talking about how their rotation is really only 7 guys. Here's a crazy stat you wouldn't believe, though. And it just shows how effective, though, when Chaney doesn't foul, that he can be on the floor. He averages more minutes per game than Dylan Cardwell.
Yeah, and that's just because, he's got a little bit more offense to his package, I think.
And he can guard the perimeter as well.
And I just think that's why it's so important to keep him out of foul trouble. Just don't go in the game and get those 2 quick fouls, Chaney. You will definitely be much more bigger impact if you can do that.
We heard this. This is a conversation that was had many times when he was at UAH.
Yeah,
he was the best player in the league when he was on the floor.
Yeah, he matured, and that's how I know he's matured a lot. I mean, there would be times where he would pick up 2 fouls in 30 seconds to start a game. That's not an exaggeration. I mean, if a foul was on the floor, he would find it.
Yeah, that's been the case here for the past few weeks for him until we've gotten here to the tournament so far. So. We'll see if that trend can continue. But if I think it does and nothing crazy happens, I really like Auburn's chances tonight. I think they have an advantage on the perimeter. And as y'all said, opening up, it's the guard play that matters in March.
Yeah, it really does.
All right. I just want to see an engaged Janai Broome. And I don't know if the ankle is still bothering him or whatever. I just want to see an engaged Janai Broome.
I don't think he really has many health issues now. I know that shoulder, if you hit it the wrong way, it's going to pop or it's going to, bother him.
Right.
But he seems to have fought through it really well. You can go back to that opening first round win over Alabama State and what occurred in those 50 hours between that game and the next game. Teammates calling out Janai, calling out Chad Baker-Mazzara, the coaches doing the same thing. I think that's been something that they've really put an emphasis on since that first opening ground, is making sure everybody puts in that full effort, understanding that this Auburn team is not one where you can have people relaxing or taking it easy or taking a game off. They're not in that point of the season right now.
Well, and then we've got to ask you before you go, Butch Thompson. That was one of the coolest things about last weekend was that they were in Lexington, Kentucky at the same time as the basketball team. They polish off the Wildcats 8-7 and on Friday, 8-7 on Saturday. Then they jump on the bus and they get there in enough time for the majority of the game. I believe it was the second half. for Auburn to be able to finish off Creighton. But talk about the first two series wins and the good start in conference play that Butch's guys have gotten off to.
Yeah, I think Auburn was either 0-6. I know they started 1-8. Maybe it was 0-6 the first two series, but much better start this year. I still don't think this Auburn team is hitting its stride yet. It's found all the answers. Still working out some things in the pitching staff. There'll be TBA on Sunday for this series against Georgia. As Ike Iris mentioned when we talked to him yesterday, it doesn't feel like this lineup 1 through 9 has really started all hitting together, all sort of getting it going at the same time together. So that's something to look forward to, possibly, you hope, if you're Auburn. But Georgia is the number one offensive power team in this conference right now. I think they lead the SEC in 10 different offensive categories. They have hit, I think it's 26 home runs in their first 6 conference games, if I'm not mistaken. No, 24 home runs and scored 76 runs in 6 games in the SEC. That's incredible to me. And Foley Field is a part that tends to, produce a lot of extra home runs. So this is going to be a real challenge for Auburn going to Athens this weekend.
Let's just call it what it is. The bandbox is what it is. Come on. I mean, our boy Slade Alford doing great. I mean, the Mississippi State transfer, Bob Jones Patriot over there. I mean, come on. It is definitely a hitter's park. You're going to have to score some runs, no doubt about that. But Butch Thompson's guys off to a great start. And Brian, before you leave, I just got another update for you. I got another Dunkel Keith moment here last night.
This is good.
Yeah, this was good because I'm down to my last jar, so I opened it last night. I decided not to go out and eat anywhere, and I put it in a bowl of chili. And I'm going to tell you what, man, it was good. And put that on some hot dogs. It was really good.
Wow. You're making me hungry. I may have to have chili dogs for breakfast now, Drew. What's going on here?
No.
Here we go.
No, trust me, you don't.
That'll make for an interesting drive to Atlanta, right? Oh, boy.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what's going to happen to me in an hour. But yeah, I mean, we understand that. But I will say this. I'm just going to put it out there. If Auburn matches Alabama,
why not put everything out there
and makes 25 threes tonight, or if they break it and may hit 26, let's all get another box of Uncle Keith's.
Let's do it. It's delicious. That's why they call it the red sauce, because it's so versatile. You can use it in so many different ways, right?
Yes. I used it another different way.
So if you're out there, give it a try. Publix, Piggly Wiggly, Renfro's. Order online. BMAT15 gets you 15% off.
Well, our
safe travels over to Auburn, or Atlanta.
Wes Neighbors has tried it. He likes it too. So
yeah,
awesome. Spreading.
Yep. Safe travels to Atlanta, my friend.
Appreciate it, guys.
Thank you.
All right. Brian Matthews, kind enough. Yes. I hope to goodness that you don't feel this in the next 45 minutes, because I'm almost made it through 2 hours in this little box.
Hey, I'll never forget my boy Joe Hunk, man. I was doing a show with him a few years ago, and the boy, it hit him about 8 o'clock.
Well, I hope to goodness it hits you at 9:05. I'm fine with that. Or 9:01.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that.
Hey, but you feel with me at Toyota where it was pretty brutal about 8:30, boy. As soon as we hit the disconnect, I was off to the bathroom.
Yes, but this was a small, tiny room.
Yeah. None of that going on.
Thank God. All right, I got to get a break, and Talkin' Ball returns.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Got a wreck in Hartselle, 31 northbound, south of 36. Got one on I-65 northbound right at 565. Got one in Muscle Shoals, Wilson Dam Road and Highway 20. Officers, construction workers, and first responders put their lives on the line every time they step on the roadway. You can make it safer for them. Slow down or move over. It's the law. Captain Nick in the Valley Skywatch Traffic Center.
Eagle Masonry and Installation. It's right there in the name. Eagle is your one-stop shop for block, stone, or brickwork, monument signs, and outdoor kitchens and fireplaces. Eagle also offers the finest craftsmanship and insulation, including fiberglass or spray foam insulation, and of course, insulation removal. Philip Love and his team have years of experience, bringing the region the best in masonry and insulation services. For more information and a quote, visit insulatewitheagle.com or call 256-755-1556. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
You don't have to go somewhere else just so you can go somewhere new. Plan your next vacation with Huntsville International Airport and Breeze Airways. Enjoy friendly, convenient, nonstop travel to some of the most exciting destinations in the U.S., including the home of 12 world-famous theme parks, Orlando, Florida. With flights starting as low as just $49, Breeze has got you covered with easy, breezy, nonstop flights to Orlando. Make all their dreams come true. Book nonstop to Orlando now at flybreeze.com.
Have you discovered Good Company Cafe? The place for breakfast, brunch, lunch, and so much more. Enjoy brunch all day and pair with one of our many seasonal refreshing drinks, including alcoholic and non-alcoholic options. Choose inside or outside on our gorgeous, spacious, dog-friendly patio and have some fun with friends playing yard games in the courtyard. See catering, to-go options, and lots more at goodcompany-cafe.com. Good Company Cafe, 7500 South Memorial Parkway.
I'm here with Vice President of Mortgage from Bank of Frank Ewing, John Kendall. And John, if you're hearing this commercial right now and you're thinking of getting a new house, boy, oh boy, do you guys have a deal.
We do. It's a grant. $25,000 if you're a veteran, $20,000 if you're not a veteran. This can be used for closing costs, down payment.
Very simple. All you have to do is give Bank of Frank Ewing a call at
256-507-9180.
And how long does this process take?
Oh, it takes just a few minutes, maybe 15, 30 minutes on the phone. We'll send you a link and you fill that out in your own time. We'll approve you.
Who would not want $25,000 for a new house? John Kendall, give them the phone number and online address one more time.
256-507-9180 or at bankoffrankewing.com.
It's Bank of Frank Ewing giving you $25,000 for a new house. Bank of Frank Ewing in Hazel Green is an FDIC insured bank as well as an equal housing lender.
NMLS number 446707.
Hey folks, Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford, and I'm here to tell you it's truck month. No payments for 90 days on 24 and 25 models of F-150, Ranger, Maverick, Super Duty, and Lightning. We've got over 220 F-150s for you to choose from with generous finance rates and the best deals of the year on America's best-selling truck for 48 years in a row. Great deals on Bronco, Bronco Sport, Expedition, and Explorer 2. Come check those out. But right now at Woody Anderson Ford, you can drive a 2024 F-150 XLT Hybrid for as little as $339 a month. $339 for an F-150. That's a 36-month lease with 6448 do-it signing, zero security deposit, just tax tag title, and your good credit. This offer ends 3/31/25. Call us at 539-9441 for complete details. Over 220 F-150s and nearly 50 Rangers and Maverick pickups to choose from, all with great sales incentives and zero payments for 90 days. Woody Anderson Ford, we hope to see you soon.
Sports Talk 24/7, 365. Your full-time sports station.
You're doing a great job. Keep up the good work.
Is 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Doesn't anyone do any work around this joint anymore?
You know what? What piece is going to be done between you and Jeff from the Burrow?
No, I'm not even thinking about that with this song coming on.
What are you thinking about this one?
Our boy who's left UNA and gone to be the running back coach at East Tennessee State.
Yes, Carry on Johnson.
One of the greatest athletes in the history of Madison County.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yep.
A couple weeks ago, he's bolted.
I saw his brother Karan. You know, he was
Karan is on the staff at Belmont.
He is. He's part of that staff at Belmont. Great dude. He was recruiting at the state tournament. So
yeah,
he's Belmont's an outstanding program.
Some other cat went to Belmont too, but I forget who.
He was pretty damn good.
He's tall.
Yeah, he's getting a lot of phone calls about plane rides.
He's tall. And likes ice cream.
Yeah, he can freaking play, man.
Yeah.
He turned Daniel Saylor into a pro.
All right, let's go out to the phones. Ray Dog is with us. Good morning, Ray.
What's up, Ray?
How's everybody doing?
We're doing good. Bracket's
Doing
pretty good.
Temperature's going to be beautiful today.
All right, I know you're a Duke fan too.
Day.
What are your thoughts on the Alabama matchup, dog?
I thought Alabama's performance last night was amazing.
Yeah.
It was beautiful basketball, but the numbers don't lie. Duke was better. Alabama shot 53% from the field, 49% from three, 85% from the line. Duke, 60% from the field, 58% from three, 85% from the line.
Yeah,
Alabama, greatest performance in the history of the university. Duke, just another Sweet 16. Nobody's talking about it.
Well, look, I mean, Alabama's performance was good. Look, Alabama did exactly what BYU let them do. They took advantage of it, and then they hit the threes. Now, if Alabama doesn't have a big three night, then that game's probably a little bit closer, and then you're starting to whatever. But Alabama's performance last night, they took advantage of what BYU gave them. Arizona's a little bit more physical of a ball team. Okay, great. But I mean, it's one of those things where we'll see how it all plays out on Saturday. Alabama's defense is going to have to be better, but at the same time, too, Duke is going to be challenged in a way on Saturday because they're going to have to defensively space the floor a little bit better than what they have been doing to slow down Alabama.
And for Jeff, God bless him. I know he means well. He's trying to support Kentucky, and I'm for that. But about a week and a half ago, Matt Jones, who's a hardcore Lexington dude, covers Kentucky professionally. He goes on his radio show, and he has a segment where he names the 10 most annoying Duke players in history. No one from Duke thinks about Kentucky unless we're playing them. It's a one-sided rivalry, Jeff. It's all on yours. See you guys.
Thank you, Ray. Appreciate that. Well, there's just a lot of PTSD. Look, because of the dang shot was coming on as the show was starting this morning with Christian Laettner
turnaround.
I mean, because that was a very beloved team that Rick Pitino had. I mean, It was they're called the Unforgettables for a reason. And I mean, I'm not even a Kentucky fan. And I can name the four unforgettables: Sean Woods, the point guard; Richie Farmer, the two guard; John Pelfrey, now the coach at Tennessee Tech, was a wing, and then the kind of jack of all trades, Darren Feldhouse. Those were the four guys that had their jerseys retired. They didn't even know it was going to happen. They did it after they were eliminated there. And of course, their best player is still one of the most when I say underrated, I guess he's not. Most people that understand basketball realize how good he was, but he's not talked about as much as even an Anthony Davis, because Anthony Davis won a freaking national championship. But I'm just going to tell you this. Jamal Mashburn was a better college player than Anthony Davis. Jamal Mashburn was a freakazoid. They just didn't win the national championship that year when he was a senior. People have to understand how good Jamal Mashburn was. He was a matchup nightmare.
Oh, no, I mean, he was
good.
He was yes.
He was
huge,
perfect for Rick Pitino's system, and him fouling out in the
Monster
overtime
match
of that game was, a big part of Kentucky not being able to get the win.
All right, we got to get a break in because when we come back, he was courtside last night for every three made in Newark, New Jersey. Brian Pasek will join us, recap Alabama's win over BYU, and we'll look ahead to said matchup with the Duke Blue Devils. We'll dial them in next.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A mostly cloudy sky this afternoon, but we are going to be quite warm across the Tennessee Valley. Temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 70s, only dropping into the mid and upper 50s as we head into the overnight early into your Saturday morning, maintaining that cloudy sky through Saturday afternoon. Temperatures are going to be a little bit lower across the area. High's going to climb into the low and mid 70s, which is still above where we should be this time of year. Scattered showers and thunderstorms are going to be possible Saturday afternoon, but there are going to be significant periods of dry time, and not everybody's going to get wet. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
The Bass Pro Shops Red Crest Championship Outdoor Expo will be at the Von Braun Center April 4th, 5th, and 6th in conjunction with the MLF Red Crest Championship on Lake Gunnersville. The Outdoor Expo will be open from 11 to 6:30 daily, and the first 200 kids 14 and under on Saturday will receive a free Abu Garcia rod and reel, courtesy of WHNT News 19. There will be hourly giveaways, tackle and boat deals, seminars, and a chance to meet the pros. And it's free of charge. The Bass Pro Shops Red Crest Championship Outdoor Expo, April 4th through 6th at the BBC.
Have you ever turned your back on God? Have you ever absolutely known the right thing to do and just turned around and walked away in disobedience? I know that I have. Aren't we thankful for our great and merciful God who loves us and forgives us and remembers our sin no more? I'm so thankful that his mercies are fresh every day. I need that, and I suspect you do too. Hey, I'm John Dees, pastor of Cross Point Church, and if you're looking for a church home, come see us. We're smack dab across the street from the YMCA in Madison, and check us out at cpcfamily.org.
By now, you know about Eagle Masonry and Insulation, and maybe you know that Eagle also does landscaping and dirt work. But how about after paint work? Shower doors, shelving, and mirrors, all taken care of by Eagle, the same Eagle that takes care of all your masonry, insulation, and landscaping needs. Eagle brings the same level of expertise to all these disciplines, and they're ready to provide you with a free quote. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
This is Steve Moulton from 97.7 ESPN The Zone, and this is What's Happening. Be sure and download our app. Just search 977 ESPN in your Google Marketplace or your Apple Store, depending on your device, so you can take us wherever you might go. And you can also check out our latest zone deals. Head over to our website, 977ESPN.com. The top left banner reads, "Savings never tasted so good." Click on that, then enter in the big zone deals store for half-off zone deals of Lawler's Barbecue, Sea Salt, Carrabba's Italian Grill, Bubby's Diner, Corlejos Mexican Grill, Bad Daddy's Burger Bar, Divergence, Full Moon Barbecue, Bigfoot Little Donuts, Hickory Store Barbecue, Good Company Cafe, Apple Lane Farms, the Decatur location, and rounds of golf at Cherokee Ridge Golf Course and Gunter's Landing. And that's what's happening.
Still may be trying to clear a wreck in Hartselle, 31 northbound, south of 36. That one came in as a no injury. Had one on 65 northbound at 565. They're showing it as being clear now. RESPECT is coming. Shoal Scholar Dollars is bringing the celebration of the music of Aretha Franklin to UNA on Monday. Tickets at shoalscholardollars.com. Captain Eck in the Valley Skywatch Traffic Center.
This will turn journalism on its ear.
Watch our stream on WCZN TV on Twitch and YouTube.
But you are the greatest hero in American history.
We are 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Alabama put it on last night in Newark, New Jersey. Boy, that sounded. Now I know where that one came from. 25 threes last night, 113-88 victory over BYU. Alabama set new school marks for most points scored in an NCAA tournament. They set an NCAA tournament record for those threes, an SEC record. They set a school record. They outscored BYU. This is just an astonishing number when you say it out loud. They outscored BYU 75-18 from behind the arc. 75-18.
Nick Kelly came up with the most stunning stat of the night. He said, this is how hot Alabama was. If you just take the made threes and the free throws and no 2-point baskets, they still win.
So did you see the game last night? Did you see what CBS did? And I wasn't paying attention to this. Like 5 minutes into the game, Mark Sears hit a mid-range jump shot.
Yeah, he did.
That was just the second made mid-range jump shot for Alabama in the tournament so far.
Right.
Everything else has been threes and layups. But anyway, heck of a performance.
And our next guest was there courtside. We had the call on 97.7 The Zone. He was a shooter himself. That I've got to believe he was in heaven last night, and he's been kind enough to join us on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline a day before they take on the Duke Blue Devils. Excuse me, I say that 3 times fast. At 7:49 p.m. Central Time, it'll be, of course, nearly 9 o'clock Eastern. But they will be taking on the Duke Blue Devils in prime time over in Newark, New Jersey. And of course, we're talking about Brian Pasek, and he's been kind enough to join us now. Brian, what a performance last night. I couldn't sleep. What about yourself?
I got a little sleep, but what an incredible night last night at the Prudential Center here in Newark. Alabama obviously came to play in a big way. I thought before the game that from a matchup standpoint, this was going to be a lot of fun to watch. Two of the best offenses in the country. Alabama leads the country in scoring, fastest team in the country, and BYU has been the best offense in college basketball since mid-February. So I thought we were going to see an exciting up-and-down game. I didn't anticipate 25 threes, but I did anticipate Alabama getting a lot of great looks against this BYU defense with the way they defend. They were going to clog the middle. They're a heavy help team. And with Alabama's quickness advantage on the perimeter, I thought they were going to be able to create matchups where they attack the gaps and force help, and we were going to get open shots. And that was absolutely the case. And in our pregame show, we talked about it at length that Alabama's going to get open looks. Do they go down? That was the question. And there have been games where they haven't. Alabama has not shot the ball incredibly well or incredibly well and consistent this year. So the looks were wide open. They came into this knowing that they were going to get them. They were really locked in to the offensive game plan. They executed it perfectly, and shots were falling. And it was a beautiful thing to watch. And just an all-around incredible performance, because what gets lost with the 25 threes, and understandably, because it was a historic performance for Alabama and for anyone in the NCAA tournament. But what they did defensively against one of the nation's best offenses was really impressive. This is a really good three-point shooting team in BYU. I think they were 1 for 13 in the first half and called a timeout late in the half, tried to set up something, and got what looked to be a good look. And I think Grant Nelson blocked the three.
Yes.
It was. And I thought I thought it was deflating for them a little bit, just because that's what they do. That's why they're there. They're one of the best in the country at that. And they executed, they got the look they wanted, and it got blocked out of bounds to end the half. And while Alabama was great from the three-point line, I thought what they did defensively was demoralizing as well.
Yeah, Drew and I were talking about at the start of the show. Every three that Alabama took, because of the defense BYU was playing, just wide open looks. Alabama contesting everything from behind the arc, hands in the air, closing out on the shooters, doing a good job of coming around on the screens. Everything Alabama did last night on the defensive side was just as good on the offensive side, except, I'll say this, Brian, for giving up some of those looks at the rim.
Yeah, early on, this is, as I mentioned, pretty good offensive team in BYU. Yeah. And they did a good job of getting inside, and they were they were getting to the rim. They were hitting some tough twos, some floaters. But even though they were having success with it, they weren't in their comfort zone. I mean, they're able to do that, but you're not going to make a living against Alabama shooting tough twos and making them consistently. And so I thought that the offensive game plan and defensive game plan was great, and all that's nice and important. But if your guys don't execute it, it doesn't matter. But they did. They executed it in a great way, in a big way, and Alabama moves on to their second Elite Eight in a row.
Well, and I thought the two guys to me that were really good last night, and of course, everybody was focusing on the perimeter and the threes, and the guards were tremendous. But I thought for the third straight game, Cliff Amore was outstanding. And this is the reason they brought him in from the transfer portal. He has been so efficient, so good on both ends of the floor. And then you mentioned Grant Nelson's play at the end of the half. And I know he didn't have a gaudy stat line, but he's been doing a lot of little things, dirty work, offensive rebounds, defensive stops. I thought both Nelson and Amore were really good last night, Brian.
Yeah, they were. They were really good. And I think Grant Nelson has made himself into one of the toughest players in college basketball. We know what he can do. He's a high flyer, the highlight reel dunks, but he makes tough plays on both ends of the floor. And I love the fact that he's been able to battle through injury. He hasn't been healthy in a long time, but you wouldn't know it the way he's played. And Cliff Amore has gotten better and better. It's not an easy thing to go from a system like Rutgers, where they're slow and methodical and playing the style of Nate Oates. I mean, that's not an easy transition, but you understand the reason why Cliff Amore wanted to play in this system, because it's more like the NBA, and he wants to play at that level. And I think he's shown, especially late in the season, that it may have taken a little time, but he's comfortable playing this way, and he's been really effective on both ends of the floor late in the season.
Basketball is about playing with confidence, and shooting wise, Mark Sears, his teammates believed in him. His coaching staff still believed in him. But if he needed any reassurance that he could put that ball through the rim, last night was a good confidence booster for Mark Sears.
Yeah, no doubt. And it was interesting. I like to watch our guys as they're warming up and just kind of take a look. And I love watching Mark Sears and Aiden Holloway, specifically those two, when they're in the gym, hour before the game, getting up shots. I just enjoy watching them. They have beautiful shots. The net barely moves. They're out there, and it's not uncommon for them to make, if they're shooting by themselves in rhythm, just getting warmed up, 9 out of every 10 probably go down from 3-point range. And I'm watching Mark before the game, and obviously he struggled shooting the ball the last 5 or 6 games. And I'm watching him shooting warm-ups, and at least for the time period I was watching, he was making about 3 out of 10, as opposed to his normal 9 out of 10 with nobody guarding him. And he was frustrated and was not shooting the ball nearly as well in warm-ups as I've seen him in the past. And he got off his first 3 in the game, and it was a brick.
Yes.
And he was frustrated. And I thought, oh, no, this isn't good, because they're going to give up open threes. And I fortunately, I didn't say it on the air because I would have sounded like an idiot, but I'll sound like an idiot on your show. I thought to myself, man, Mark's off tonight.
Yeah.
He just doesn't have it. I'm thinking that after watching him warm up and the struggles in previous games. So I think it's safe to say I did not anticipate a historic individual performance by Mark Sears from the 3-point line. But once he hit one, I don't know if you guys remember the reaction. Man, he pumped his fists like I've never seen him after he made his first 3. I think it was a combination of just kind of a sense of relief. I got one to go down. Now here we go. Now let's go. And he was spectacular in that game. And yeah, I mean, he's knocking down shots. He's making plays. He's playing with ultimate confidence. I think he had 8 assists. His assist numbers have really skyrocketed late in the season, but it was an epic, historical, legendary performance for a guy that is a legend in crimson and white before that game, but he definitely added to it last night.
Yeah, I think he made his next 4 threes and just got off such a tremendous start in that first half. And I'll say this too. I was trying to research, and like I told Scott to start the show, I'm no mathematician, but I think he passed Eddie Phillips. I think he's second all time now to Reggie Mule King in scoring at Alabama, Brian.
Yeah, incredible. And
in 3 years.
He just had, It's really amazing what he's done from a big picture standpoint, individually, as a team. I don't want to offend anybody, but he's got a strong argument for the best to ever do it in college. There are other guys like Robert Horry and some that have gone on to have great NBA careers, and hopefully Mark will as well. But just from what he's done in college, there's not many, if anyone, that has a claim to the greatest ever in crimson and white as Mark does.
Well,
first time too now for Alabama school history. Another school history accomplished last night. Back-to-back Elite Eight appearances with this Nate Oates leading the ship.
Sorry, I was trying to mute my cough. I'm joking with some of the new coaching staff members, or relatively new, that have just been around a year or two, and kind of joking with them, like, you guys know that this is hard. This is maybe all you know, but to go to back-to-back Elite Eights, that's something obviously that's never been done. Only one Elite Eight in program history before Nate Oates got here, and to do it once again, and a chance to go, if you can beat Duke, which obviously will not be easy, 40 minutes away from another Final Four is incredible. But just amazing to be here, back in the Elite Eight. We've all been around sports, college basketball, this Alabama program, and followed it for a long time. And it is not easy to do what they're doing, and they're making look easy. And I'm talking about these players and coaches. They deserve so much credit. The job is not done yet, and they're focused right now on Duke. While there was joy and excitement, and these guys are enjoying the ride right now, it is 100% focus on the Duke Blue Devils and figuring out a way to stop Cooper Flagg and company.
And that's a perfect segue. I know you saw the game last night. Duke played at a very high level as well. We already had Ray Sibley call in, big Duke fan. He was talking about how Alabama played amazing, but Duke played even better. What is your thoughts on the matchup with Alabama and Duke? I've really been hoping this would happen. Nate Oates put this team together. He put this schedule together to prepare them to play a team like this.
Yeah, listen, Duke is as impressive as anybody in college basketball. They haven't played the schedule that Alabama has, and that's just because the ACC is not what the SEC is. But they did what great teams do against competition that is maybe not to their level, and that is they beat them, and for the better part of the year destroyed them. And when I watched them last night in person, they're big, they're long, they're athletic, they're skilled. They've got it all. They have the look of a national champion. But when Alabama plays well, so do they. So, I think it's going to be a great game. I'm excited about watching it, and I agree. This is one that I hope would happen. I thought it would happen. I just thought the way that Alabama was playing, with a couple of bumps in the road late in the season, that they were trending towards being here and having a shot against the betting favorite to win it all in the Duke Blue Devils. And it's not going to be easy. Cooper Flagg is the best player in the country. He is a generational type talent. It's not going to be easy to slow him down. He does everything on the court. But I like Alabama and Nate Oates and his staff preparing a game plan to try to slow them down And when this offense is clicking, in terms of Alabama, what they do on the offensive end, they can absolutely beat anybody. I wouldn't anticipate 25 made threes, but I would anticipate a really good offensive game plan. And Alabama definitely has the talent, the depth to play with anybody and beat anybody, and that includes Duke.
Yeah, and we can't wait to hear the call. And, of course, we will be carrying it here on 97.7 The Zone. Hopefully it can be more history, back-to-back Final Fours. Wow, for the University of Alabama. And if they could knock off a Goliath like Duke, maybe this is the Alabama version of Duke versus UNLV, the rematch. I mean, that's what I'm hoping. And where UNLV looked like a runaway train, and then Duke had other ideas. Hopefully Alabama can. But we look forward to your call, Brian. Enjoy Newark, New Jersey. Enjoy it today. Very envious of you being down there, and just have a great call tomorrow night. And we appreciate the time as always, sir.
Always enjoy it. Appreciate you guys having me.
All right, Brian Pasek, kind enough to join us. Let's get that final break in.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Still may be trying to clear a wreck in Hartselle, 31 northbound, south of 36. That one came in as a no injury. Had one on 65 northbound at 565. They're showing it as being clear now. RESPECT is coming. Shoal Scholar Dollars is bringing the celebration of the music of Aretha Franklin to UNA on Monday. Tickets at shoalscholardollars.com. Captain Eck in the Valley Skywatch Traffic Center.
Countdown to the 2025 Trash Panda season is on. Tickets are available for the full 2025 home schedule, including opening night on Friday, April 4th. But it doesn't end there. The Trash Panda season opens with 9 home games in 10 days, featuring theme nights, giveaways, fireworks, and more. This opening homestand has it all. For more information, check us out online at trashpandasbaseball.com.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
Now is the time to sign up for the Eagle Installation WZZN Charity Golf Tournament to benefit the Make-A-Wish Foundation. This year's event is the morning of April 21st at Cherokee Ridge, and each member of the winning team not only gets the championship belts, but a full year membership to Cherokee Ridge. Breakfast and lunch are provided, plus tremendous prizes and a chance to win $100,000. Cost is $800 a team or $200 per individual, and corporate sponsorships are available. Send an email to 977WZZNevents@gmail.com to reserve your spot today.
This segment of Talkin' Ball is brought to you by University Kia, the #1 volume Kia dealer in the state of Alabama, located online at universitykia.com. It's time for tomorrow's headlines today with Scott Theisen and Drew DeArmond on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Major League Baseball from yesterday. Atlanta Braves open up the season 7-4 losers on the road at San Diego.
161 left.
Yeah, there's a long ways to go. Alabama scrimmages for the first time spring yesterday as well. That's
Ty
in the
Simpson
books.
led the way. Isaiah Horton, the transfer from Miami, had a big scrimmage. I think Latsier Brooks, the freshman from New Jersey, did a nice job. I think Ryan Williams was held out. Justin Hill, freshman, got an interception. So some things leaking out. I think the offensive line performed pretty well. No significant injuries.
Yeah.
Sounds like Connor Talty did a nice job kicking. So some things leaking out, and then there'll be another scrimmage a week from today at 1:00.
Florida has their pro day in the books. The story from there is Desmond Watson, the defensive tackle, 6'6", checked in at a whopping, you ready for this?
435 is just what I'm guessing.
464 pounds.
Look at Johnny boy. That even blew his mind.
Would become the heaviest player in NFL history.
Wow, he could be the new Yokozuna.
460.
I'm going to channel my inner Joe Hunk there with the wrestling talk.
That boy's eating some pancakes or two.
Or 100.
You got Auburn basketball coming up tonight. You got 4 more games tonight. Your schedule will look like this real fast. Michigan State, Ole Miss at 6:09. Kentucky, Tennessee, 6:39. Michigan, Auburn, 8:39. And Purdue and Houston, 9:09. That's your lineup for tonight. So get you some Uncle Keith, get you some chili, stay up late, watch basketball.
Absolutely, man. It's going to be a beautiful time. It's the best time of year, March Madness.
Yep.
Nova playing for a national championship. Should have been UAA.
Sick.
Dang it.
All right, we're back at it.
Hi, folks. Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford, inviting you to come test drive any one of our over 100 F-150s. From rock-solid, dependable work trucks to our state-of-the-art Platinum Series, we've got an F-150 for you. Test drive one today, and you'll understand why the F-150 is the best-selling truck in America, going on 48 years in a row. Just as successful offenses and defenses are built on teamwork, Woody Anderson Ford is powered by our people. Our sales and service teams are well trained to save you time and money.